Hi, besties. Welcome back to the Vault podcast. It's Amir Yas. I'm here with my girl, Monica, and another fellow Persian, Reza Farahan. Hi, honeys. How are you guys?
What's happening?
All right. Should we just dive right into the mess or should we take it slowly, Amir?
I don't think Reza needs any lube, honey. Just go right in.
Seasoned. He's seasoned.
I know that's right. Listen, thank you for being here. Okay, I want to start off with Traitors because this show has become like a reality TV phenomenon now. Like people just love Traitors. I'm trying to get Amir to watch it. He still hasn't. Like, have you seen an episode, Amir?
I have not.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. It's so good.
I've only seen 2 episodes, and I was forced by Golnessa. I saw the first episode of my season, which is the only episode I was on, and then I saw the first episode of MJ's season, and that's it.
Oh man, yeah. MJ's season was really good too with Phaedra. I mean, that was a good season.
My season was low rent. Very low rent.
You think so? I loved it because I love Suri. I love Suri.
Well, let me just tell you, it was the most low rent thing I've ever done.
Oh.
They had people off the street on the show who had never done TV.
Right.
And we were in a circle, and this wasn't aired, but they said, let's go around the room and everyone talk about like something special about themselves. So we're going around the room. The girl next to me goes, I still have shrapnel or fragment of a bullet in my head. And then it came to me, and I was like, when I was little, I wanted to be the Shah of Iran, which is the king, and the monarchy was abolished, and I manifested a show called Shahs of Sunset, and I was the king of that show for 9 seasons. And literally, everyone around the room went, mm-hmm. And then someone said, there are people here wearing $1,000 shoes, and they don't deserve this money. And I was like, bitch, I'm going home.
Yeah, that was not your crowd for sure. Yeah.
Not my crowd. These people literally were talking about this money like it was going to change the financial trajectory of their great-grandchildren. There was a guy on there named Michael who was talking about like, you could buy the whole town he's from for $250,000. And I'm like, oh, Lord, this is not it.
Yeah. Is that why they stopped having civilians on?
100%.
Okay, that makes sense.
The civilians are going to want the people that already have had success on TV off the show immediately.
There you go.
That's funny. Not civilians. Point. I like the word civilians because I know the UK version, they still have regular people, right? I think they still do that where they have regular people mixed with the celebrities. I feel like that doesn't work. I don't know. It doesn't work for me.
No, it didn't work because they were very, very thirsty. And to their point, okay, they need the money. We all need money. I get it. Everyone's not as rich as you, Reza. So we get it. But it just kind of made the show have a different direction. I know what you mean for sure. Yeah.
For sure. So it was, of all the projects I've done, it definitely was not up there with like, oh my God, this was such a great experience. No. It was not. And if I had known they were going to have people off the road on the show, I would never have agreed to do it.
Not off the road.
Off the road. Those were not civilians. Some of them were off the road.
Oh my gosh. I clutched my pearls when you were the first one voted out because I'm a Bravo fan and all of the Bravo fans watching were rooting for you because they know you can come with the heat. And you can stir the pot and you would have been a good traitor. So that was disappointing in itself. It really, really was. Did it hurt? And did you get paid the same amount of money?
So I could not wait to get out of there. It was still during the pandemic. And like the motel that we were staying at next to the airport, they took the phone out of the room. We couldn't have a computer. They put tape on the peephole. They took your pills. They went through your suitcases. It was just overall, I literally have text messages in my phone like, please, I'm hungry. When are you feeding us? Like, I need water in my room. I need this. I need that. And so for me, literally the first week we did a Zoom with production, and I looked at the owner of the production company in the Zoom and I was like, there's no infrastructure here. I want to go home. And so I ended up going home first, which was very, very okay by me. I think that by the time the second season happened, whatever kinks they had worked out, I was complaining about the food being so horrible. One day, it was French fries with chili as a meal. It was like French fries with real chili or French fries with vegan chili. And I'm like, after all those stunts and fire and tying these ropes together and all that, chili?
You needed a steak. Yeah, you needed a steak. Now, you mentioned motel. Were you not staying at the castle?
Girl, that is an Airbnb castle that only has 2-3 rooms that look decent. And if you pick anything up and look under it, it's got a Home Goods sticker on it.
Oh my goodness.
The flooring is different in every room. There is no staying in no castle. That is not a castle, honey.
Oh, okay.
No, no, no.
Okay.
TV magic. Here we go.
magic.
Wow. That's crazy. I've heard from other people about that first season where they were eating crustless bologna sandwiches, and like I've heard some horror stories. So you're not the only one that was trying to get out of that situation. Thankfully they figured out their kinks, but I want to ask you about, I know you did go, but would you do like House of Villains?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to be in a room with people who are trying to like outgross one another, because it's just not, it's not the tea. Like I was there for New York putting Omarosa in her place, but I definitely do not need anyone referring to me and bodily secretions or anything. Like, no, thank you. I don't want villains trying to come for me and like make a name for themselves because they came for the queen that was on 9 seasons of a Bravo show. No.
Listen, I can only respect that. But if you were given the opportunity, would you do Traitors again?
No.
Okay.
No
it's
way.
It's evolved now. It's a different type of show. It's
Jose.
so good. Okay.
No way. The treatment, there's so much hurry up and wait. You have no idea. The schedule is grueling, and the treatment while I was there was not. They were treating me the same way they were treating the civilians. And for someone that had done that much TV, I was horrified. I'm like, this is Fugazi on another level. Like, the other people were getting some girl who was an alternate. She told me she was getting paid $100 a day. She had to get there 2 weeks early, and she had quarantined, and someone accidentally told her that she was going to step in. So she got all ready. They forgot about her in her room. She flew back with me. I felt so bad for her. I wanted to give her a check or something. Be like, I'm really sorry for what they did to you. Here you go.
Wow.
No, hell no. I would never, ever work with that production company ever again.
Oh my goodness.
Not okay. It's not okay. Well, let's talk about, the fabulous 9 seasons. Before you decided to do this show, I know obviously there was a lot of friendship between you, Mercedes, and Gigi, obviously. Can you talk to us a little bit about that process of like, was there any hesitation? Because you're very authentic and you're very real, but you know how Persians are. They're living double lives. They're like kind of bullshit. Me being Persian, I know this. So did you have any hesitation to kind of putting your life out there, or was it just like, fuck it, let's do it?
So at the point where I knew the show was going to happen, I was thinking to myself, if I can, there were no openly gay people from Iran, let alone anywhere in the Middle East that I could look up to or think to myself like, oh, look at him living out and proud. Maybe I could do it as well. I was just thinking, if I have 15 minutes of fame and I can show younger people that, look, my family and my friends love and accept me, and you can be out and you can be proud and you can have a normal life. That was really all I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking that we were going to have 9 seasons at that, initial onset of the show. I had ulterior motives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's very admirable. I like that. And it
Yes.
worked. And even the introduction you guys did with the early on seasons, you'd explain all the different Persian cultural stuff and do little blurbs. And I know a lot of Persians were like, it makes us look bad, blah, blah, blah. But it also brought a lot of attention to our culture.
It makes you look bad. Y'all do enough shit here to make yourselves look bad. I don't need to help you.
Yeah.
I'm not your representative. You didn't elect me. And this is not National Geographic's, bitch. This is Shahs of Sunset. It's a reality show. And I'm interesting and funny as fuck. And they wanted to follow me, my life. And it wasn't about, if I could have been Cuban, I could have been anything. It was about me and my group of friends. And when Persians would come up to me and be like, you need to talk about this or you need to show that, I'd be like, how long have you been here? And they'd be like, oh, we moved here 1960s before the revolution. I go, bitch, you've been here all these motherfucking years. You didn't try and produce that show that you wanted to show this and show that and all the accolades and all the shit you want to show. Go show those things. I'm not your rep. I wasn't elected. I'm not your responsibility. I don't represent you. I'm showing people how I live, how my friends live, and what's important to us. And that was it. It's like, por tabaco as fuck. Like I owe you something. Like I'm supposed to do this show on a level to make you happy. And being Persian, you can't make Persians happy even when you try. So you just got to do your own thing. And if I had done it their way, we wouldn't have had 9 seasons.
Right.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well said.
And we thank you for that because the show was just amazing. It was a total success. And we hated when Bravo pulled it from the airways. But we're hearing rumblings that the show may be coming back. What's going on?
I mean, I'm hearing rumblings too. It's getting louder and louder. The rumble is turning into a roar. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping someone sends me a contract at some point.
But didn't someone post like was it Mercedes or Gigi that posted like a camera emoji on their story? And then everyone was like, oh, that means they're filming. And they started to go crazy. So is that just understanding social media or is there something to that?
I mean, I really can't say what Golnessa and MJ are doing or what they did. I didn't necessarily see that post. But, there's chatter and I'm just staying optimistic.
Okay.
Yeah. And folks blame the whole cancellation on Mike because of his domestic violence charges. Is there any truth to that?
Ironically enough, I went to the Vanderpump Dogs Gala with MJ and Golnessa, and I was sitting with an executive from Bravo, an owner of a very successful production company. Jeff Lewis was at my table, and a lot of people from the Bravo sphere, corporate, were at my table. And one of them said to me that the Mike situation was a contributing factor. And I never thought that it actually was. And so to actually hear it from someone that, it played a role. I don't want to say it was Mike's fault, but I'm sure that they knew from the things Paulina was telling them because she had their ear as well. She was on the show and there were a lot of things going on behind closed doors that we were not privy to. Like Amir was saying, Persians like to keep their fronts all the way up, like everything is perfect. And, there's unmarried girls we got in the tribe that we got to marry off, get them off our books. So we need to represent that things are always perfect. And so I feel like there was a level of that was going on. But for the rest of us that felt the need to be super honest and transparent, because the Bravo audience is very smart, very, very smart. When you're trying to feed them some soup, they know immediately. And if you have an ulterior motive like I did, which was promoting, I didn't want everyone to assume all Middle Easterners were homophobic. I was trying to like open everyone's mind and horizon. So I was like, yes, this is what's going on in my family, my finances, my this, my that, whatever's going on. Open these books up so I can at least gain the audience's trust, so the things that are important to me that I want to convey, they're on board with it. And then you have other cast members, and because people DM you. These chicks are not just in his DMs, they DM. Once things go left, guess whose DMs they're all up in? My DMs. Screenshots and this and that and the third. And you don't want to put your friend on blast. You don't want to be that person, but you got to like walk the fine line of being honest and hoping for the best.
I like hoping for the best. I like that. And I've interviewed Mike and I've been around him, and this is not saying anything to what he's done, but he was always lovely to me. So I don't have a bad experience. But again, obviously people behind closed doors act differently.
I love Mike, by the way. I love him.
I was going to ask you, what's the state of your relationship with him, friendship?
We talk, and he's very remorseful about a lot of things that have happened, and he's in a much different place from what I can tell. And I'm very happy for him. And he was a good friend to me for a very long time. And I wasn't there 100% during the darkest times because he wasn't very open or honest. But as time has progressed, he's opened up and he's in a much different place, and I'm happier for him. I feel like he got caught up in something that happens when you're on reality TV, which is, people offering you sexual favors in your DMs and making you feel some sort of way, and you take the bait and you run with it. There is a bill that comes with that stuff. You may not have to pay that bill today, but that bill will come due at some point. And I feel like it came back to get him hard.
Just to touch on that horrific video that was released to the press of him assaulting Paulina in the closet and beating her up like a man. It was very, very disgusting and really hard to watch. What was your reaction after viewing that video?
I was in disbelief. I was horrified. I knew that he actually paid to put those cameras in that house.
Oh, goodness.
So he's living in this house that she bought after her divorce settlement. He converted a room into a gym. He put these cameras up. And so I knew about it. And I was in disbelief. I was in shock just because I have anger. I'm a hot-blooded Persian man, and I get very angry at times. And I don't know what it is. I'm not better than him. I'm not saying I'm better than him. But just putting hands on other human beings is not an option for me ever. And so it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that I watch a lot of Dateline specials and shit, and I'm fascinated as fuck by these people who can cross that line or who do cross that line. And luckily for me, I don't know if it's nature or nurture or what it is, but it's never happened to me. But I was horrified by it. I couldn't believe it. I felt very bad for her, and I was just in utter shock, and I was really disgusted by what it was that I was seeing.
Yeah, just like a lot of us were. Oh, goodness. Not to stay on the Mike train, but there was a rumor, I guess, or a hotel employee who had came out and said back like in 2022 or maybe before that, but in Vegas at a BravoCon, you and Mike got into a screaming match and it almost got physical, or it did get physical, and he called you a fat queen.
Oh my God. You guys are not going to believe this. We're at BravoCon. Mike and I are beefing like no other. Gigi and I were on 2 different floors, and I was like, I'm going to go to my room real quick. I'll be right back. I go to my room. I get whatever it was I needed. I come back to the elevator. The elevator doors open, and Paulina and Mike are in the elevator that I'm about to get into. And he didn't call me a fat queen then, but he has called me a fat queen on several occasions. But at that moment, we actually ended up hashing it out. I ended up actually going to their room with them. And by the time I got back to Golnessa's room, she's like, bitch, where you been? It's been an hour. I was like, you're never going to believe what happened. I got in the elevator and Mike and Paulina were in there. And here's the thing about Mike. Mike wants mafia-style blind loyalty. Keep your mouth shut, support me regardless of what's going on. And that is just not who I am as a human being, unfortunately. And that's the kind of friend Mike was looking for at that time. And I couldn't be that friend that he needed. And the fat queen was coming from there. That, you know, and I was a fat queen.
Oh
you know, I'm still a queen. I'm just not fat anymore.
You were not fat. You were not fat.
Girl, there are pictures. I will show you pictures. I was fat. There's pictures I have. You can see the
But even if you were, your friend shouldn't say that.
Listen, you know? And you have good hair. I mean, even if you were, you're just a masterpiece. You're very, very handsome. You have beautiful hair. So
not a masterpiece. Okay,
he is. Look at that chiseled face. I mean, come on.
Funny. No, you look good. It's, you know, I think with a lot of this stuff, obviously these hotel workers and they talk to the press and it gets kind of compounded. But now there's like press rumblings that Paulina is dating Gigi's ex. Do you know anything about that?
Dating? The motherfucker gave her a lab diamond eternity band. Golnessa and him got married in Las Vegas at a place where the address of the building was 555. So the two of them, Golnessa and this dude, get married. They get matching tattoos that said 555. Cut to Paulina and him are now together with these bootleg lab diamond eternity bands. And the one he was wearing is the same one she was wearing. It's not cute for a man to wear. And there was a picture of the two of them with their hands like this, with their little eternity bands, with tattoos that say 224. 2 of us together forever. And I'm thinking, first of all,
cringe.
If my man 2 weeks before I came along got a 3-digit tattoo with some other hoe, I'm not gonna want a 3-digit tattoo. Can we do something else? Can we come up with another plan? Like, how gross are you?
Not lab created diamonds. Ooh, sorry, the Persian in me, like I just couldn't get past that.
Lab diamonds,
past the lab
girl.
diamonds, honey. Listen, I'm not for blood diamonds. I'm like B, but like I can't do lab diamonds. I cannot do the lab diamonds. I'm like, go to 24 carats.
Get a gold band. Get a gold band. Give me a gold band. I don't want something cooked up in an oven somewhere that's supposed to look like something that actually, you know.
Right.
It's like a Birkin. I don't, if I can't afford a Birkin, I don't want a Walmart Birkin. I just want a leather bag. It doesn't need to look like an expensive, I just want a genuine leather purse that looks lovely. It doesn't need to look like a Birkin. I don't like dupes. I'm not a dupe. I'm not into dupes.
Yeah.
No dupes for us. No, I agree with you.
That's what dupes.
No, we don't. I went through a phase when I went to China and Turkey where I was doing the fakes, but I got rid of all of that because the problem with dupes is then everyone assumes everything you have is a dupe. Right. You wear your Rolex, like, is that a fake? I'm like, oh, fuck. I have real stuff too, bitch.
No,
like,
exactly. And you reach a point in life where you just feel icky and tacky for wearing fake things. You're like, I'm above that. So yeah, well, it looks like Paulina needs to come back on the reboot. Because this Gigi Paulina mess, y'all don't want her?
Hell no. I mean, if you are picking up sloppy seconds on the side of the road, like, no. Mike told me, this is secondhand tea. but I trust it. He said that her kids had a problem making friends because she was just too hoey at the school, and none of the moms wanted her. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're dressing a little too provocatively, and these married women have kids like your kids' age, they're not going to want you coming around with the kids and at the parties and all that. No way, Jose. No one wants her around.
How tacky. How dreadful. Ooh. Dreadful. So I'm assuming, because you mentioned MJ earlier, that you and MJ are in a good place now, because her husband previously had a restraining order against you and all that drama and the back and the forth. Where do y'all stand today?
I don't think her husband had a restraining order against me, sweetie.
Or tried to get one.
No, I had a restraining order against him.
I knew there was a restraining order. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah.
He's very angry. Tommy is very angry, so I don't blame you. Anyways.
She and I are cool. We actually had dinner last night, her, myself, and Golnessa. We had a great time. I haven't seen him since then, but she and I are cool, and things are good with us. But I am 1,000 times closer to Golnessa than I am to MJ, if we're being 100% honest. Golnessa's at my house weekly. We hang out weekly. We talk almost every day. We're super close. She's even closer with Adam, my husband, than I am with her. And we're very, very close. So Golnessa and her son and her family are like family, and we're just very connected.
I love that. Do you think it's because MJ's kind of guarded a little bit? Why do you think you're so much closer to Gigi? Because MJ comes off a little guarded. I've met her a couple times. She seems like she has some walls up.
MJ is just built different. She's she's old school. She's like, it's hard for her to let people in. She can be a little more competitive with friendships. Like, I don't have a jealous bone in my body at all. I introduce my friends to other people, and if they become cool, I'm happy. I don't say like, hey, I saw on Instagram you two went out to dinner, you didn't invite me. Like, I am a different animal when it comes to friendships, and MJ is not like me at all. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's just different. And Golnessa and I we roll the same way. Like, if you've ever traveled with a friend, Golnessa and I travel the same way. We pack, it's easy. We don't lose our passport. We're always on time. We don't feel disheveled or like, MJ's like the hot mess express. And she would like other people to be rolling on her, to the beat of the drum that she rocks to. And Golnessa and I rock to the beat of a different drum. And for her, sometimes she feels like, well, I wish you were more over here than over there. But we're not in high school.
Right.
You've always been that way. Did Tommy ever pay you back for wrecking your courtyard in your house, whatever that mess he made?
No, I think that there was some weird allegations that we were trying to like gouge them financially or whatever it was. And I was just like, no problem. Like, we don't need to recoup any. It's fine. Like, don't even trip. Don't worry about it. And we just like kept it pushing and acted like it didn't happen and we didn't address it. I think they felt like we were trying to extort them for money at the time, which, if you know anything about me, I reminded her later, I have a Louis Vuitton Pegasus rolling like suitcase, the kind for like weekend getaways and stuff. And MJ didn't have one. She actually did have one. It was fake and ugly, and I made her get rid of it. But we were on a trip together in Tennessee, and we went to the to a store. I think there was a Louis Vuitton store in a mall. And I was like, bitch, get one for yourself. And the new model had come out and she wanted to buy me one. And I felt very uncomfortable. I was like, absolutely not. I have one that's in great condition. I've had for years. I totally don't need another one. I love you. Thank you for offering. But I'm Tarofi. Like, I like, it made me uncomfortable. I didn't want it. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, you thought I was going to extort you? You tried to buy me a Louis Vuitton bag when we were in Tennessee together. And I said, no, like, are you serious? Whenever we go out as a group, even though I'm gay, I'm a man. I always pay. If you ask Nessa, she'll tell you. If I go out with the two of them, I never let them reach into their wallet.
I love that.
So
I think there's nothing wrong with, if you're gay, you're still a man, because we're still Middle Eastern men. We always, like, if I'm with a group of girls, I always pay. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And that's a cultural thing, probably, right? I really like that. So needless to say, things haven't been 100% the same after that whole fallout with Tommy and MJ and you. It's just, you're friends again with MJ, yes, but it's just not quite the same.
Totally. It's definitely not the same. And, you know, I tiptoe around it because I don't talk about him because it feels weird. And she doesn't say anything. I don't say anything. And so we just, you know, we talk about everything other than our relationships.
Got it. And has your time on Jeff Lewis Live helped with your friendship? Because I know you're both on that show a lot. Do you guys ever record together, or?
We did do it together one time.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, like, if I'm on, I'll read the comments when I'm on, and I'll read the comments when she's on. And the comments are a little bit different. But she told me, she's like, oh, no one reads those comments. They don't mean anything anyway. But it's funny because mine are usually all positive and hers are not that positive sometimes. They're like, stop bringing her on. She rambles too much. You know, sometimes she doesn't get the best comments on there.
I see. Yeah, the Jeff Lewis Live audience is pretty intense. They're funny.
Oh my God. Sometimes I read the comments. They're like, Reza looks like a lesbian, like my outfit one time. They are brutal. They're brutal. It's hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Funny. How have you liked doing that show? Like, how is it?
I absolutely love doing it. And I'm like always in a good mood. So I show up in a good mood. It feels like a blessing to be there. It's so fun. You get to just like being on here. You get to talk about fun, random things. It's not that serious. You know, during the day, I have a lot of things I have to do that aren't that fun, that are much more serious. And I have a different attitude towards. My mantra and my creed are a little bit different than hers. She's a little more complainy, Persian complainy. And I detest nothing more than someone who's always complaining. And I'm not saying MJ's always complaining, but I don't complain because I know I don't like hearing it. And it just perpetuates negativity. Like I don't walk around complaining to people about shit all the time. She's a little more of a complainer.
I could see that. I could totally see that. And now I don't know if you're watching Beverly Hills, but Sutton Strack's mom,
oh my God.
Reba. Oh, what do you think about Reba?
She's a beast. I would cuss her out. I would throw her out of that back house, put her in a 1-bedroom apartment, and teach that bitch a lesson she won't ever forget. But I'm here for Beverly Hills because Kyle Richards is finally having to deal with a little bit of shit. Because this bitch for 15, 20 years has been holding everyone's feet to the fire, talking about don't leave, you have to stay here, you have to talk about it, we got to get deeper. And now it's like, bitch, are you a lesbian or not? Hello?
Speak on it.
Are you a lesbian? Where is your husband? Are you getting a divorce? Like, what the hell is going on? Why do you get to have this secretive life, but everyone else needs to talk about everything? And I'm living for Dorit. Dorit has had it. She will not take nothing. She won't take this much. And Sutton is here for it too. She's like, wait, did someone say something? She's like, read that text message, bitch. You got to read the text message.
Oh my goodness.
So Sutton irritates the living life out of me. And seeing how beastly, her mom is a beast. And she's literally, someone gave her a gift, went to a store, picked something out for you, like open it, and you're Southern. Persian people are like Southern people. When someone gives you a gift, you show your appreciation, and later you re-gift it or you return it or you put it on Poshmark like MJ or whatever. But
the shade.
But you don't stand there and act like an unappreciative T-Wat. Like, If I were Garcelle and that Nana talked to me like that, it would be the last time she talked to me. Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah. Nana means older lady, for anyone who's wondering.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. I think, what's funny about that is like MJ's mom, a lot of people are really mad at Reba, but MJ's mom said some really intense stuff too. And she's lovely. I've actually met MJ's mom at the mall and she was lovely. So I think Persian people sometimes don't have a filter like people in the South or like people
no, dude. MJ's mom is not lovely. I'm sorry. She's not lovely. If you saw her at the mall and she was maybe trying to sell you something, she might have been nicer to you than other times, but she's not nice to her daughter. And I have a mom that literally, when I call her, she's like, قربونت برم دلم برات تنگ. Like when my mom picks up the phone when it's me, you would think she hasn't spoken to me in 20 years. Every fucking time. She treats me like a prince. I'll tell you a quick story. Before I was married, I was going on a blind date with this Persian doctor. And I met him at the Coral Tree Cafe in Brentwood on San Vicente. And my mom was super excited. And she could not wait to hear about this date after the fact. So I called her up and she's like, how'd the date go? I was like, wasn't that great. She's like, why? He's Persian. He's the doctor. I was like, well, he had a very thick accent, sounded like he got here last week. He was wearing True Religion jeans with the big fat white stitching. And like he was kind of chunky, he wasn't that attractive. Like I was just not into him at all whatsoever. And she goes, but at least he's a doctor. What are you? I was like, what am I? I go, what am I? I'm a prince, bitch. It's your fault. Growing up, you told me I was the shit. I could do anything, have anything, go anywhere. It's your fault I didn't want the the chunky Persian doctor. You're the one who made me feel like I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's why I'm not settling for that mofo.
You're Absolutely. So blessed to have a mom like that. I mean, literally, that is just amazing.
Literally.
And it speaks to the person you are today because you're so confident. You don't take no mess. Okay. You tell it like it is. And people they gravitate towards that and they just have to love it. And that's why I think you do so well on Jeff Lewis's panel. I really do. You keep it real. MJ, on the other hand, I don't know if she's built for that. I don't know if she has the same kind of personality. She doesn't give off the same thing. No, and this is not a diss towards her. It's just two different personalities we're talking about. But I want to circle back to Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Your beef with Kyle. Is Kyle dating Morgan Wade? You would know. You're there in Hollywood.
I 1000% think she's a lesbian. I 1000% for years and years have been hearing through the grapevine little rumblings about their marriage. I think she's a lesbian. I think she's with that Morgan. She played it up, whatever is going on. And I don't understand how the cast has been programmed to be afraid of her and to not really hold her feet to the fire the same way she holds everyone else's feet to the fire.
Absolutely. And Garcelle did it, and now she's calling her an asshole. So I'm like, well, Garcelle said, are you a lesbian? Just say it. And then now she's the asshole. So it's like,
yeah. But like Bose is there too now, and Bose is amazing. And everyone's right. Girl, the text you sent PK, if it was production related, I've been on a reality show for 10 years. Me and my castmates, we text. If it's production, we talk about production. you're not going to not talk about production in your text message because you're thinking, oh, later on, I want to make sure that they can show this on camera and I'm not breaking the fourth wall. No, it makes no sense. If it was just jokes and memes, it would be jokes and memes. But you said to him, I never say what we talk about. Hello, we're not stupid, girl. That means you be talking shit. You be talking mad shit. And PK looks like the type who would talk shit about his wife behind his wife's back.
He does. He does. And it was a screenshot. It wasn't, you didn't show the text, you showed a screenshot. So it was very calculated. You took a piece of the conversation and showed it, which I'm like, why would you show that part? That was dumb.
Because she wanted to stir this up. She wanted all of us talking about it to deflect from Morgan Wade. She knew she couldn't deliver Morgan because of the lies that she told last season to Morgan about her marriage being in such a shambles, but that's not what we saw on TV, right? You had poor Maurizio looking at Kyle like, love bug, what is going on here? Why are you upset with me? He just didn't get it. So Morgan was like, you know what? Keep me out of this love triangle. I don't want to be back on that show. And the producers said, well, you got to give us something. So she came up with this fake orchestrated thing with PK, and she knows what she's doing. You could see it in her face. She's not this gullible. I mean, come on, this it's ridiculous.
But it's amazing that all this stuff is going on in her life, and this is the only thing she's having to address. Right. It's amazing. If it was our show, oh, hell no. They would want us to slice our arm open, expose the veins and bleed and like talk about everything. So when I watch these shows, I'm like, oh my God, she gets to skate. And she's telling these women they should be ashamed of themselves. Girl, you've got way more you should be ashamed of than these ladies trying to hold you accountable for all the shady stuff you be doing left and right.
Absolutely. And, you know, speaking of your show and kind of having to share everything, you know, when your relationship with Adam and then the like allegations of cheating and all that and having to expose all that, that is like really hard. Like, I mean, and you were very admirable and you were very honest about all of that. The reunions, you've been very honest about all of it. It's just like, that's really tough. Like, how did you, I mean, it's just like very admirable.
The crazy thing is, anyone can come along when production is happening. I saw Quad do it. She brought some guy who accused Lisa, I forget her last name. She got kicked off that show, but
Lisa Nicole Cloud. Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Brought a gay man on to say that he slept with her
husband. Her husband. Yeah. The problem with these reality shows is anyone can come along and say anything. And I'm super close with Golnessa now, but if you rewind the clock back to, I can't remember what season, but Asa was still on the show. So I'm thinking it was season 5 or season 4. Golnessa literally said she had a video of me performing a sex act on someone at the gym. And so finally I'm like, show the tape, biatch. And she's like, I would never do that. I was like, oh, you wouldn't do that, but you talk about it all season long and make me look like a dirtbag. But now that I'm holding your feet to the fire, you won't show the video. So people come along, they say things, and it's almost like once production gets a hold of it and they start running with it, it becomes the truth. And you have to address it. And it's like, oh God, my poor husband had this shady friend who really wanted to be on the show.
I remember him.
He made the mistake of saying something like, you know, where Reza was out of town. He was having a few friends over who I know all of them. They're welcome in my home. They come to my home when I'm here. They come to my home when I'm not here. And Adam said something about like, oh, we're playing naked Jenga as a joke. Like, who plays naked Jenga? But because he said it, and there was a text message, you know, it became what was the truth. And so there's nothing you can do. You just got to roll with it.
The way that was edited, it really made Adam look bad. It made it look like he was cheating on you or there was something going on. So I'm glad you cleared that up because for a very long time, everyone was like, oh, Adam's kind of shady. You know what I mean? They can paint these storylines and these characters of people that are completely false. Yeah, Gigi should have owned up to that and showed the video, because if you're gonna say
there's no video to show. There was no video. Like literally, she and I almost got it. I said, show the video, bitch, so many times. We walked outside. Adam and I were waiting for the valet for the car to come. And I turned around and I could see her processing. She's like, he said, show me the video, bitch. Show the video, bitch. Show the video, you fucking. Like I said it so many times. I turned around. I saw her take her earrings off.
And she was lunging at you guys.
Lunging. I mean, she didn't rub Vaseline on her face, but I wish she had. But basically, she took her earrings off, rubbed Vaseline on her face, threw her purse on the ground, and started running towards us. And she swiped at me, but she got poor Adam's neck.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was at the reunion, right?
No, that was the finale. Asa had this art installation where she did photos of the couples. And we were at this art gallery in downtown, and it was like the big reveal. But what I had done was I told production, I actually didn't tell production because I didn't trust our showrunner that year, but I ordered a dozen roses for each of my castmates, and I wrote an apology card as if I were Golnessa to each one of my castmates, apologizing for all the shady shit she had done to each person all throughout the years with very specific items. So every hour on the hour, a flower delivery person would show up with a bouquet of roses for a different cast member. And literally she's standing there not saying anything and just letting it go. And finally, I'm like, this bitch is not gonna say anything. And so I was like, are you going to address what's going on here? She's like, seems like you want to. And so I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I'm the one who sent the flowers. And she got really upset.
Too funny.
Yeah.
Too funny. Do you keep in contact with Asa at all?
I don't keep in contact with Asa. She did hit me up when my dad died. But y'all, the reality is Deshaun Snow is not calling Nene Leakes during season 5 because she hates not being on the show. As soon as Asa got cut from the show, she started talking shit like this show's not going to go anywhere. And it's very, very hard to be friends with someone who's actively shitting at the place where you're still eating and you love and adore this thing. So it was very complicated. She had been hurtful towards Adam, canceling plans on him. And so the shit talking plus her not being respectful towards my husband, it was just really hard to maintain a friendship with her.
Why did she leave in the first place? Like, why did she leave the show?
She didn't leave the show. She did not. I think that, Bravo at that time would clip you and they wouldn't say, oh, we're firing this person. And they would let you say whatever you wanted to say in the press. Like, oh, I'm going to focus on, my diamond this or my voodoo that. And, they just let you, they
Not
let
the
you do
voodoo.
that. I think basically they were like, listen, you can't not show your man or your baby. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not Jenna Lyons, girl. You got to show your man. You got to show the kid. You got to show your life. That's what allegedly I believe happened.
Okay. So her allegations of racism and stuff are just extra. She's saying that you guys were,
She was saying what?
She allegedly said something that some cast members were racist towards.
Mike was racist towards her for having a black baby.
My best girlfriend in real life is someone who's not on the show, and she's married to one of the most famous, if not the most famous person, and he's black, and she has 4 kids, and they're like my family. And I don't know how Mike feels about people in his heart, but I don't know.
Seems like a stretch.
I mean, if I got fired, I would come up with some stuff too, especially watching everyone continue without me. It would be burning my ass. And she's an Aries. and like a know-it-all. And so for her to have to be the one who's not continuing on and like having, I would move, literally, I would have to move to another country. If I were her and they had clipped me and the show continued on for many seasons without me, I literally would have to, like, I don't know, go to Uruguay or something and just assume a new identity, just be like, hey, I'm here, start over.
God. Yeah, that's crazy. That's funny. Not Uruguay. I love that. So this is the Vault podcast. So we like to open the vault for our guests, but you've told us so many things. But is there something from the show or someone that you couldn't stand that you haven't talked about? You can tell us anything that's bothering you.
I mean, it's like, I don't even want to give them any play, but like, there are that one girl from the last season. Oh, I could not stand her.
London.
Oh my God.
London was the worst.
I literally couldn't stand her. And I don't know what she is, like if she's a millennial or a Gen this or a Gen that, but she was new. And we would be on a cast trip and I wake up early, I cook, I do salad shirazi, I make eggs, I help clean up. And this bitch is sleeping in, not participating, not cleaning up. And it's like, bitch, you are entitled as fuck and you are a newbie around here. No one even likes you and you're not participating or pulling your weight. If I were you, I would wake up a little early. Like, it made no sense to me. I could not stand her. Like, just her being around irritated me.
I feel that. And she was therapizing everyone. We shouldn't talk to each other like this. And we shouldn't. And it's like, girl, you're new.
Made the show horrible. Yeah. Just please.
I went to her mom's house and everything came to light. I was like, okay, now I understand. Everything makes so much sense. I met Reba. I met another Reba. And I was like, okay, this is like all falling into place here.
That's funny. Yeah, I met her a couple of times. She's very know-it-all, very like, we shouldn't talk like that. We shouldn't say that. And it's like, girl, please. No. That's a no for me.
That's too funny. So with rumblings of this reboot, what's your dream cast? Who would you have on a reboot?
I mean, if I could reboot the dream cast, it would literally just be Golnessa, myself, and MJ with new, exciting Persians that are in our lives that you guys may not know, as opposed to anyone from the past. I used to say, MJ and I used to joke, I'd be like, bitch, I need to give these motherfuckers a bill. At least 10% of their checks, they owe me. These mofos are not pulling their weight. Like, you owe me a percentage of them checks. Because like I felt like I was carrying some of them. Like, so my dream cast would be people that you don't know about yet, who are really dynamic, interesting individuals that you guys would end up loving, as opposed to trying to recycle anyone from the past. We've got some doozy Anos from the ghost of Shah's past.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some people from that group that I liked. I liked Destiny. I liked Shervin. I liked Nima. Do you talk to any of them?
I talk to Destiny all the time. I love her so much. She's like a little sister. She lives in Vegas. And my dream would be for her to live here. And if there was a reboot, that she could come around. I don't speak to Shervin, but I know MJ and Mike do. And Nima's definitely in the London category as far as I'm concerned. He was the most jealous person I'd ever met in my whole life. He felt like he should have been on since season 1. And he came in with the most like Ogday chip on his shoulder that I've ever seen.
I love that. Ogday means like you're desperate for attention, right? That's how you translate it.
He had like a chip on his shoulder, and he couldn't stand that we were called the OGs. Like, he had problems and issues with anything he was like that kid that wanted he was from that school of thought where like everyone should get a trophy even though they suck. Like he just not my cup of tea.
I got you. That makes a lot of sense. You know what came to me, Reza? I think that if it was the three of you, MJ, you know, Gigi and you, and then maybe three friend of, where you guys were the main cast members, and then we had three people that were kind of like friends that came, like a Destiny, and they popped in. How do you feel about that? I feel like that would be nice.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna be happy with what you end up getting.
Okay.
Oh, good.
So we are getting something.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully.
Oh,
Allegedly, hopefully, I think you guys, if it happens, that you might be happy with the prospect of the people.
Okay, watch your words, Daddy. Watch your words,
Allegedly.
Daddy.
There you have it, folks. All right. Allegedly, the show's coming back, but I'm excited. Thank you for getting us so excited because the fans miss the show. It was good. It was genuinely good. And it was sad to see it go out like that because there was no reason for it from the fans' perspective.
But Bravo did you dirty, right? They moved you to Friday night. They really tried it, but people kept watching. The ratings were still there. Like, they tried everything.
You guys, the things they used to tell us, so our ratings would be amazing. And I'd be like, I need a raise. They'd be like, oh, sorry. People just forgot to change the channel after Atlanta. I'm like,
what?
No, I swear,
I
swear to the things that they would say to us. I could write 12 books. The fugaziness of the things that were told to us. It just yes.
The audacity.
They just left the TV on. No one.
I swear to God, they forgot to change the channel. Those aren't real numbers. Those are leftover numbers from another show that's better than your show. Like, the things. If
that's
people
crazy.
Only knew. Yeah.
That's crazy because the numbers you guys had, none of the shows now, not even Beverly Hills gets those numbers. I mean, the show numbers are all now like 600,000 to 800,000. You guys would sometimes get 2 million, 3 million.
We were killing the game.
Yeah.
First of all, you cannot be Middle Eastern, not be associated with like a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the way Vanderpump was associated with Lisa and Brandy Glanville and Sheena, and there was all these connections, and they would flip flop, onto each other's shows. We had nobody. We had nothing. Bravo would literally send us promote their shows, other shows. They'd be sending us emails. No one else promoted our show. We had no love, and we still came back year after year, and we killed the game. And I have so much Persian pride that people every year would hit me up, and all of us, and say shit like, I wish I was Persian. So to the Persian people that were talking shit, saying you should have been showing all the accomplishments and all the monuments and the this and the that, I'm like, bitch, this whole time we've been portrayed as terrorists on shows like 24. Since I've been in America, we've been dealing with the hostage crisis, 9/11. No one's ever said to me they wish they were Persian. We changed the game. People were like, Salamati. I'd go to a bar and someone would come up to me and cheers me in Farsi.
I love that.
So I have so much pride for the love that America and the world, because they would syndicate it and show it in other countries and not tell us or pay us. But people would tell me, like from Brazil, all over the world, how much they love the show and how much our culture is similar to Greek culture, Latin culture, Italian culture, you name it, that they would watch things and it would remind them of their family or their this or their that. And to me, I feel like we accomplished so much changing people's perspectives on Middle Easterners in general, and gay Middle Easterners.
Yes.
Before I go, I want to tell you a story. I was on the phone on Santa Monica Boulevard. I had just walked out of Starbucks. before it moved. It used to be closer to La Cienega. So I'm walking out, I'm on the phone, I'm holding my coffee, and I hear this S-Class. Looked like it was just doused in olive oil. This motherfucker was glistening. Just came off the showroom floor. AMG gorgeous. Screeched into this like crosswalk where I was about to cross. Door swings open. This immaculate 75-year-old Persian man comes, throws his arms around me, kisses me, and tells me I'm his favorite character on Shahs of Sunset. And I'm thinking to myself, this 75-year-old Persian man loves the gay dude on the show the most. Right? It's not supposed to be like that. He's supposed to be grossed out by me if you want to hold him to societal, the bullshit that I've grown up with. But to me, it made me feel so good about what we were doing and what we had done. And those moments live within me. And I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of my cast. And I'm so proud of what we were able to do in helping just shift people's thinking about us as a group, dispelling all the stereotypes. If you want to think we're materialistic and I love Mercedes and golden columns, better that than thinking I'm a terrorist and I support, bullshit that I don't support.
Sure. The alternative is a lot worse. So saying you're materialistic in LA, it's like, okay, and so are a lot of other races in LA that are materialistic and like Mercedes and gold and all that. So I like that perspective. If there was, just to wrap up on this note, like if there is like a message to the fans or a message to Bravo, or do you think that like, I want that message, like what is it to this, like God, willing, we get this new iteration. What is the message you want to get out of this? Because initially you said for the first time around with Shahs of Sunset, it was about kind of humanizing us and opening the world to gay Middle Eastern people, etc. But what's the message now? When you guys are going in, what's the message now?
I mean, if I had a chance to do it again, I would want to show people that I am this whole other person now. I'm married to a man who has taught me things that I didn't know I would love and appreciate. Like in our household, we compost. My husband has not one possession or belonging that has a label. We were actually going to a wedding one time and he said to me, "Can I borrow your Louis Vuitton shoes?" And I'm thinking, I have Louis Vuitton sneakers, not appropriate. He thinks the Louboutins, he's confusing Louboutin with Louis Vuitton. And I have this man who literally has taught me to propagate. I'm so involved in the garden in our house, the things that we do together, and this life that we've built that's so meaningful to me. I wish that I get another opportunity to be on TV to show people. In October, I'm going to be married for 10 years.
Wow.
That's, for someone who comes from the background that I come from, that's nuts to me. There's so many things that I want to share with people, and a lot of it revolves around, doesn't revolve around gold and diamonds and stuff. The minute the show got canceled, I talked to my financial planner. The house across the street from us was going to go on the market for sale. The lady had lived there for 50 years. She bought the house the year I was born. And before we got to see it, I put a Post-it on her door and I said, "I don't care how much the house is, we're buying it." And the house we lived in, we had taken down to the studs. We had remodeled it, put in a pool and a spa. And I said to Adam, "We're buying the house across the street. We're going to move into that house and we're going to rent our house out. And the house that we rent out is going to pay for us because of the down payment we're going to put." Like I did a spreadsheet for him. This is what we can anticipate collecting in rent. This house is not only going to pay for itself, but it's going to pay for us to live across the street. And we're going to accumulate wealth. And we're going to build another house in the backyard because of these new laws. So the things the things that I did to not have a Kim Zolciak outcome, because it was my biggest, like, I would be so afraid. And so, like, I would love to share with people how our life has changed and what we were able to do in spite of the show being canceled.
I love that.
Right. That's
that.
fabulous. That's fabulous. You know, Reza, you just remind me of one last question. I know we're going to wrap up, but I want to ask you, obviously, with the wildfires in LA and from a real estate perspective, you know, a lot of people are saying, like, how is LA going to rebuild? What's your opinion about all of that? Because, you know, obviously with the insurance companies, all that.
One of my cousins, his home burned down in the Palisades, and all of his, thank you, and all of his, like, Persians keep their good stuff at the bank. Like, you don't keep your, like, Rolexes and your jewelry and stuff. You don't want to keep it at home, because if you get robbed, you don't like want to lose that stuff. You keep it at the bank. All his stuff was at the bank, and the bank burned down, and that stuff is not covered.
Oh, no.
The B of A in Pacific Palisades burned down, and all his stuff was in there. And I think to myself, like, how are you going to rebuild? How? Like, it's catastrophic on another level. And then, to be honest, it humbles me, and I watch documentaries about the Holocaust, and I think, like, and I'm not comparing the LA wildfires by any stretch of the imagination to the suffering people had in the Holocaust, but I think if they were able to do it, like, you know, my cousin is very wealthy, and those were just possessions, and thank the Lord he didn't perish in the fire, and he has the option to now wait and see if he wants to rebuild or if he wants to live somewhere else in the meantime. And I hope to God that everyone else that lost a home has as many options available to them. It's so mind-boggling. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen. It's going to be so many years before it ever gets back to feeling like a community again. So to be honest with you, I have a lot of calls from people who are trying to figure out where they want to be. And I've got rich Persian relatives that own houses in Beverly Hills that are like, hey, is it a good time to, like, try and sell, you know, this investment property that I have? Because now, you know, people in the Palisades are maybe going to want to be in Brentwood or Santa Monica or Beverly Hills. So I feel like there's a lot of reshuffling of wealth, and I'm just very grateful that more people didn't perish and that it was just property loss. And I pray that everyone is going to have an opportunity to live somewhere that they want to live, in a home that they want. And that's my prayer for everyone.
Absolutely. No, thank you. And thank you for being here. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. I had a great time.
Thank you.
We had a great time. Thank you so much, Reza. And I just when are you going to be on Jeff Lewis Live, if you can tell us, for the listeners? Are you going to be up? Are you coming up soon?
I totally am coming up soon.
Good to know. And yeah, we're looking forward to hearing.
Oh, and I'm going to be at ChumpCon from April.
Oh, there's a ChumpCon. Okay.
There's a ChumpCon from April 11th through the 13th in Las Vegas. Hey,
that sounds fun.
Totally fun. I'm going to be on Wednesday, February 19th from 9 to 10 a.m.
Ooh, we're looking forward to that. And tell us where they can follow you as well on Instagram so we can keep in touch.
Follow me at Reza Farahan on Instagram, X, Facebook. And I'm on TikTok, but I don't really TikTok.
Thank you again for being here. You have to come back. We loved having you, and I'm sure everyone's going to look forward to this new chapter of yours. And I hope this, you know, TV project comes together, because we want to see more of you. So thank you, Azizam. Thanks for being here.
Thank again. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. I had a great time, and I'll come back anytime you guys will have me.
Awesome.
We loved having you. And everyone go follow Reza and listen to him on Jeff Lewis Live, and follow us at the Vault podcast page. Thanks, besties. Bye.
Bye.